Hey, how's it going? Durinde back again, and I am going to switch things up a little bit today. Going to play some Nuclear Throne. Have been playing Isaac for the last little while, and I thought I'd do something different with some Nuclear Throne. Haven't put out a lot of videos over the last couple weeks. Things have been fairly busy at work. Someone at work has been on vacation, so I've kind of been doing like a double duty type thing at work. So coming home fairly tired, some family stuff going on, nothing serious, but yeah, didn't really feel like streaming or recording any videos for the past couple of days. So I thought I'd change things up, freshen things up with some Nuclear Throne. So since the last time I've played this, I have about 4 hours of Nuclear Throne right now. There has been a couple updates, so that means the characters got relocked, but we can expect to unlock them fairly shortly if we do okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few runs, and then I'm going to try the daily run and probably do a few more runs after, depending on how I'm feeling and everything. So if you haven't played Nuclear Throne before, well, it is kind of a shoot-'em-up type bullet hell slash roguelike. You fight a bunch of guys, jump from level to level, you level up, and you ultimately try to reach the end goal, which is the Nuclear Throne. It's available on Steam, and it is fun to play. My favorite character is Steroids. Steroids has the advantage over the other characters. Of course, each character has their own abilities, but Steroids is the fact that he can shoot two weapons at the same time, and both those weapons will be automatic. And I am just going to pause for a moment here, and we will go back to the main menu before we do anything else, and turn down the master volume a little bit. I'm not operating with the best mic right now, so that's why we're going to turn that off. So maybe if you're watching me, turn on a little bit of music or something in the background. Apparently, just by playing for a few seconds, I've unlocked a couple more characters. So let's start again with Steroids and see how we can do. So yeah, as I was saying, Steroids starts with the ability to shoot two weapons at the same time, and any weapon that he picks up is automatically an automatic weapon, which is great because the revolver that you normally start with, it isn't an automatic weapon, so you get that constant click, click, clicking. It's like playing Diablo back in the day. We picked up a machine gun as our second weapon, so we will probably be blowing through ammunition pretty quickly. You do have to keep an eye on ammunition for this game, but there is usually enough ammunition drops that you can get by. So let's look at some of these. Of course, you collect rads during each level, and once you reach the end of each level, if you collected enough rads, you get a chance of mutations, kind of like a level up. So let's have a look at what we have. Sharp Teeth, damage taken is dealt to all enemies on screen. You have Open Mind, extra chest spawn, extra feet, more speed, and you also have Scarier Face, which is less enemy health. So we will take that. And we have the opportunity to pick up the Wrench, which is a melee weapon, but I think I'm going to stick with our two bullet weapons for now. A lot of people like playing with the melee weapons because they are fairly powerful, but you do have to get up close and personal, which in this game might not necessarily be the best idea. If you have any wrench or other melee tips and tricks, though, I would be glad to hear them. Drop me a line through the comments section, or you can follow me on Twitter. I am under the moniker Daily Satire. So we will pick up a laser pistol as our second weapon and move it on down to the next level. Didn't level up that time. As you can see, we just move on to the next level without the choice of a mutation. So let's move along and see what we can do. These first couple levels, fairly standard. You can usually get through them, no problem. It's usually when you get to an area called the sewers that things start to get a little bit harder. But I have been known to die on these original levels, these first couple levels starting off, so don't be surprised if I do kick the bucket a few times. That is our first boss. We'll see if we can take him out with our laser pistol. There we go. So he wasn't too bad, and we will move down to the next level. And let's check our... we are kind of low on ammunition, so I will take the recycle gland upgrade. If you're interested about all the upgrades and everything, I'm sure there is a wiki that you can check into. Speaking of checking into things online, the daily challenge, which I'm going to be doing a little bit later, it gives you a ranked score, and you can do the daily challenge and then go to thronebutt.com and kind of see how you stacked up against everybody else. All right, so let's move it along here. Think about this level. It is a fairly dark level, so hopefully you guys are seeing this on your monitors. And we killed him. Let's see if we can get these guys. Ooh, a little bit of pro dodging right there. Definitely not MLG, but I will be happy enough with that. Laser rifle. So we will take that over the laser pistol, because I'm assuming, well, if I learned anything from playing XCOM, the laser rifle is better than the laser pistol. And I'm talking about original XCOM from the 90s, not the newer version, which was great. It was still a great game. But I did enjoy the original XCOM back in the 90s. Terror from the Deep, which was the sequel, not so much, which is basically the original XCOM with a ugly yellow color palette, a Call of Cthulhu type theme, and it was underwater for some reason. But yeah, I've spent many an hour playing the original XCOM games. Kind of introduced me to the idea of permadeath and the fact that you have to save early, save often. In fact, XCOM was one of the games that kind of got me into that mid-90s PC gaming. A friend of ours had a demo disc from, I think it was PC Gamer. XCOM was on that demo disc, and you played through a single terror mission. I died there. And it was a hard terror mission, to say the least. I don't know if you're familiar with XCOM. There were Chrysalists, there were Snake Men, and it was not fun. But I played that demo over and over again until I had kind of the tactics of XCOM figured out. When I finally got the game, well, I was decent at it, I'll say. I won't say I was great, but it was a shock, because in the demo, you start off with some energy weapons, you start off with some heavy weapons, and when you start a full game of XCOM, start off with no armor and some pistols and rifles. That's about it. Unlike the newer game, you don't even have a sniper rifle or anything to start off with. You kind of gotta take a look at the stats of you guys and see who will be strong enough to carry some heavier weapons, who's going to be your sniper, and kind of assign weapons appropriately. And I think there have been a few mods for the PC version of the newer XCOM. I know this, I am playing Nuclear Throne and talking about XCOM, but anyway, I think they have expanded that a little bit. And I would like to pick up the PC version of XCOM to play the I think it's called the Long War mod, which expands the game greatly. I think it makes it harder in some cases. And I would be interested in checking that out, but I only had a PlayStation 3 when the newer XCOM came out. I had moved around. The laptop I had at the time died, which seems to be a recurring theme for me. And I was looking for a way to play it, and it did come out on PS3, so I did buy it. And then I actually bought The Enemy Within for the full price. On PC, The Enemy Within was just an expansion, but you wanted it on PS3, well, you basically had to buy a full game again. I think it was like $40 or something like that. But I think it was well worth it. I actually haven't gone through a complete campaign with The Enemy Within yet, but I do have a couple of different starts. But I did have an issue with a save game file where, like, in the spot where I got the furthest, and it kind of threw me off. And I have beaten the original XCOM before, so it's not like I'm looking at trying to see what happens at the end of the game. I know what happens at the end of XCOM, so. So yeah, so we're playing as steroids again. Back to Nuclear Throne after much talking about things not Nuclear Throne. And we will see if we can make it past the boss here, and we did. And we'll go down to the next level. Like I said, the first couple of levels, not too bad, but when you get down to the sewers, things get fairly difficult. I forget how many levels there are in total. You do the sewers, you go back to the junkyard for a little bit, you fight another boss, and you go to a crystal level, and then you do a bunch of snow levels. I think there's another indoor level, and then you actually fight the nuclear throne. And I think if you beat the throne, I haven't actually done so myself. Seen a few people get to the throne, though, on YouTube. And I am doing poorly against these rats. But I think if you actually beat the throne, the game just kind of loops around. It doesn't end on you, which is interesting. So we died there. So we've been doing all right with our runs. So let's try our daily run to see how we do. Ends in 4 hours. Haven't done one of these in a while, so I probably won't rank very highly in this. I'll probably be like in the 80th percentile or something like that. I think the best I've done is like 35, top 35%, which definitely isn't terrific. Now those weapon chests there, I'm told that if you skip those, you will get a bigger weapon chest on the next level, but I'm not sure if there's actually any benefit of that. If you know for sure, let me know. Send a comment or hit me up on Twitter. Alright, so let's pick up some more rads here. We're doing okay so far. I would like to get an alternative weapon to the revolvers, though, because they're your basic starting weapon. They're okay, but a little bit on the weak side. Okay, let's move down to the next level. We will level up, and let's take Strong Spirit. Not doing the greatest for damage here. And there is our boss, and he kind of appeared out of nowhere. And we are running out of bullets, which can be a problem. Which will be a problem. I will see if I can kind of make it to a chest. There we go. And maybe pick up a shovel. Okay. Okay, and that was the end of our daily run. Wasn't the best. I think if you click on the daily run rank, yeah, it was in 2000th place. And this game's been out for a while, so I'm not sure how many people are doing the daily runs these days. Let's start off with chicken. We'll do a couple runs as chicken, and then probably wrap up the video. And, okay, yeah, I have to unclick the daily run to do that. So chicken starts off with a sword and has a special ability to slow down time, which can be good for fighting bosses and such. But chicken's melee weapon, though, apparently is one of the weakest in the game. So if you are playing melee, you have to look to try and upgrade that. Grenade launcher seems to be working pretty well for me, though. So we will stick with that, and hopefully we can keep enough ammo going for a grenade launcher to make it our viable kind of primary weapon against the harder enemies. I will keep using the sword for the smaller enemies. I'll be looking for a mutation called Impact Wrist, since I'm using the sword. And with Impact Wrist, if you kill an enemy, their corpse kind of flies around the screen and does damage to whatever that corpse hits. So it can be a way to deal some extra damage. Picking up lots of bolts, but not much in the way of grenades. So hopefully this will take care of you. Ooh, almost took some damage there. And we will go down to the next floor. What do we have for mutations? Patience, mutate later, better accuracy. Let's take patience and mutate the next time we go around. Maybe we'll have a better selection of mutations. Another thing about melee weapons you might have just noticed is that you can reflect bullets, which can be useful. You can't reflect those kind of more lasery beams that get shot out, like you probably saw just then. I took a face full of those. So you have to be careful, but they can kind of cut through it and dissipate those, so you're not entirely stuck, but it's always feels cooler when you're deflecting bullets. It's like an anime or a manga or something like that, where you're some sort of wandering samurai or a $3 billion man or something like that. Sledgehammer. Yeah, okay, so the sledgehammer is better than chicken's sword, so we will go with that. We will take Rabbit Straw, and we will take Scarier Face. Alright, so we did make it down to the sewers. I don't even think we made it down to the sewers on our daily challenge. It's kind of sad because we've done it on all the subsequent runs before. Well, this is the only subsequent run, but we did it on our earlier runs. So we will carry on, and whoops, try not to get a face full of bullets, because that's usually an unhealthy thing to do. I think the Surgeon General doesn't recommend that you take a face full of bullets. And the slow down of my computer seems to be affecting my gameplay slowly. Oh, and yeah, another thing about chicken, you get to run around like a chicken with your head cut off for a little bit after you die. If you do pick up a health kit while you're running around like that, you will come back. So let's do one more run for this. Let's go with Plant. Plant has the ability to snare his or her enemies. I'm not sure if Plant is a boy or a girl, or if it actually matters. It doesn't matter. Plant can be whatever he or she or it wants to be. Okay. And you can hear my mad clicking there, of course. When I was playing steroids, I could just hold down the button. Way to go. But yeah, when you start off with that revolver, well, you gotta do that click, click, click until you pick up an automatic weapon like the machine gun. Are picking up a lot of bullets, so that is good. So we will be looking to pick up a nice secondary weapon now, because the machine gun's not too bad. Let's move on to our next level. Let's get Blood Lust. Okay. So we had a few nice days here where I live. We had one day which was like 15 degrees Celsius. Saw the post person going around town just his shorts, well, not just his shorts, but in his basically postal uniform that has the shorts instead of the long pants. And ever since that day, it's been cold. We've had snow again a few times. So I blame that postman on wearing his shorts too early and causing winter to come back. I am taking a long weekend next weekend, going on a little bit of a road trip, so I'm hoping the weather next week at least will be decent, and looking at the long-term forecasts, it looks like it will be, so hopefully the weather gurus are right about that. Also, I was doing some hiking. I mentioned in the last couple of Isaac videos I did. I haven't really had a chance with this busy work schedule that I've had over the last little while. It's kind of coming home tired. I know that shouldn't be an excuse, but I've made it an excuse. And the fact that the weather has been kind of crappy in the meantime as well, that hasn't really helped my motivation to go out hiking. I'm kind of really hoping for that last bit of snow that's up on those trails to dissipate, so I can take longer hikes. The longest route around right now is about 40 minutes, which goes around 2 ponds. There's boardwalks and all sorts of scenery and stuff. And my only other option for like a longer walk would be kind of walking a smaller loop over and over again. And I just don't have the desire to do that. If I'm going to walk looking at the same scenery, I might as well go on a treadmill or something like that. So we are doing fairly well on this sewer level, so maybe we will actually make it a little bit further, fight the second boss, but we shall see. Level 4. Slower enemy bullets, sure. Not sure where I took damage there. That's probably a bad thing. Splinter gun. Splinter. Speaking of Splinter, I see that they're making a second modern Ninja Turtles movie. I don't really know how to feel about that. Of course, a lot of people didn't like the one that was put out a little bit earlier. Was it this year or late last year? It was something different. The Megan Fox, April O'Neil really didn't do it for me, but hey, there you go. Modern interpretations and such. I mean, looking back at the old 80s cartoon, that was wacky as hell. I didn't realize it till I watched some episodes very recently, actually, of the 80s cartoons. And I didn't realize how actually cartoonish it actually was. I mean, you wear kind of nostalgic glasses. There we go. Looking at some of this stuff, or remembering some of this stuff, and when you actually look at it critically, you're like, wow, I really did watch that. I think it's 2000s cartoons. I've watched a couple episodes of that recently as well, and that seems to hold up fairly okay as well. At least until you get into the later series when there's like a time traveling element or something like that. I'm going to do one more run, and then I think I'm going to wrap things up. Let's go with YB, who has a higher rate of fire. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about this second movie. Interesting what they're going to do with it. I hear that they're getting a new director, so I don't know if that will improve things or not. But, that was kind of like my cartoon when I was a kid. Some people enjoyed G.I. Joe, some people enjoyed Ghostbusters, maybe. That was my thing. And, if you're like a 90s kid, you probably watched Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z or something like that, and I was kind of a little bit too old for that stuff when it came out. Not to say I didn't watch it, but I probably didn't get the same effect of someone younger. And I do hear that they're making a new Dragon Ball Z series, or a Dragon Ball series. I don't know if it's still called Z or it's called Kai or something like that. So what do you guys think about that, you fans of the old series? Like I said, I wasn't really a big follower of it myself. A little bit too old at the time. But yeah, what's it like to have that being brought back? Well, anyway, died again, so I'm going to wrap things up there. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Durinde Plays Nuclear Throne. Expect more episodes in the future. I'm also looking for suggestions for other games that I could play. Running a fairly crappy system right now, so looking for something that maybe is a little bit lower end. Probably won't melt my computer. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. And like I said, I'm always looking for suggestions. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Have a great one.